You got questions? I might have answers. It's time for the Q&A.
DreAllDay.com.
What's going on, everybody? Dre Baldwin, DreAllDay.com. It is Friday, July 11th. It's about 6 p.m. By this time, y'all gonna be watching this video on Saturday. I put this out at about 5 p.m. on Saturdays. Y'all already know the news. LeBron James has announced that he is leaving Miami and going back to Cleveland. Y'all already know about that. I'm sure somebody's gonna ask me about this in the Q&A because I didn't read the questions yet. I'm gonna get to that in a second. But I'm gonna make a separate video which will have come out already Saturday morning addressing the free agency stuff, because I just hopped on ESPN and said Jeremy Lin got traded to the Lakers. Kevin Love said that he would sign a contract if he got traded to the Cavs. Chris Bosh is going back to Miami, so it's going to be basically Bosh and D Wade in Miami doing their thing. I got a lot of stuff to say about that, so I'm not going to address it all in this video. We're going to do this as it's supposed to be, which is answering the questions of all you out there who got something to ask. And I'm going to make a separate video. By the time you watch this video, that video is already out. So go look at the video I put out before this one, Saturday morning, and that'll be addressing the NBA free agency bonanza that took place on Friday, July 11th. So I'm going to make a separate video about that. And that's that. Another thing before we get into the questions. People always ask me about Verse 1 Federation. Am I going to play anybody from Verse 1 one-on-one? This is the answer. I came up with an idea how we can make these games happen between me and some players from Verse 1. I don't want to play just one game. I want to play several of their players one-on-one. I want to play all these dudes. I reached out to Verse 1 Federation through email and through Twitter. If y'all don't know, I did a Q&A with Verse 1 last summer. If you go on the YouTube search up top there and you type in Dre Baldwin Verse 1, you will see the Q&A that we did with Jonathan, a.k.a. Big Brother. He's the guy, if you watch their videos, he's usually the guy behind the camera, so you don't actually see him. But he played in a couple games. A couple games he actually plays in, you can find him. So Jonathan, if any of y'all know him, any of y'all follow Verse 1, y'all fans of Verse 1, or you fans of me, and you want to see me play against some players from over there, holler at them. I hit them up via email, I hit them up via Twitter. I have not heard anything back from anybody all week. I don't know why. I have no idea. So y'all reach out to Verse 1, let them know Dre All Day said, I'm ready to make this game happen. I got an idea for how the game's going to happen. I just need to have a conversation with the people from over there so we can make it work. Because I got a very good idea how we can make this work this summer. So, y'all holler at Verse 1. They get at me. I'm going to get to handling some business. I'm going to reach back out to y'all because I'm going to need y'all help to make this happen, how we going to actually make it work. And then we're going to go from there. So that's the end of the house cleaning business. Let's get right into the Q&A. For those of y'all who don't know how this works, this is Q&A number 27 you're watching. I put these out every Saturday afternoon. I actually record the video on Fridays. So any questions that you post, any questions you want answered, you leave them in the comments to this video between now and next Friday, and I'll reply to them in the next Q&A, which will be Q&A number 28. I don't read these questions ahead of time, so I have no idea what anyone's going to ask me, and please do not reply to anything that anybody else asks, whether you think is a dumb question, whether you think you know the answer. Q&A is for me to answer the questions, so let's just keep it clean so I can get right through these with no bullshit. Y'all ready? Good. Let's go. First question, DJ Cameron. He says, question for the next Q&A, which is this one. He says, what do you do to overcome people who are bigger than you? I'm 13, I'm only 5 foot something, and I'm going to 8th grade. What do you do to overcome them? You focus on the things that you can control. You can't control somebody being taller than you, since he's referring to his height, so I guess he means by height. You can't control your height. The only thing you can control is your skills, your effort, and your attitude. So focus on those things. Work on your game to the point that you don't have to worry about how big nobody is. Ball is like 23. Says, Dre, I practice 7 days a week. I can handle pretty well. And I can do all the drills that people better than me can do. But in games, I don't do them that well. Because I think a lot. I think I can do more in games, but I don't. Do I know what could help? And he says, was I on varsity all 4 years of high school? First of all, to answer the high school question, go read my book. It's called Buy a Game. DreAllDay.com/buy-a-game is a free PDF you can read there, or you can get the book for like $2.99 on Amazon or on iTunes if you want to read it that way. But you can read about my whole high school life. Also on my website, DreAllDay.com, I wrote it out in detail. As far as you not performing in the game the way you do in practice, I actually covered that on my website. If you go to DreAllDay.com, click on the link that says Guides and Tips, or actually cover how to overcome not playing as well in games as you do in practice. So go read that. Awesome Ivory says, Dre, how do you recover after a hard workout? I'm new to weightlifting And my legs, I did my legs the other day. I got really sore. I could barely walk. It hurt to sit down. How can I prevent this? Well, you can't prevent it, Awesome Ivory. If you're going to work out hard, then you're going to be sore after the workout. That's the purpose of working out. You break down the muscles. They feel sore. They repair themselves while you're resting, while you're recovering, whether that be drinking, getting an ice bath, putting ice on your body, replenishing with good food, good fuel to put in your body, and then you get back out there and work out again. Usually is the best way to get the soreness to go away. So if you want to completely prevent soreness, stop working out completely and don't play sports. Now, if you're willing to work around it, then you just got to toughen your way through it. That's the difference between athletes who quit and athletes who don't. You think the athletes you watch on TV don't get sore after a hard workout? Of course they do. They don't show it because they tough their way through it. As far as the recovery methods, there's a lot of things you can do recovery wise. You can put ice on, you can definitely stretch, you can use a foam roller, look that up, and make sure you're putting good food in your body, because the food you put in your body is what's going to replenish your body. So if you put shit in your body, you're going to get shit results no matter how much you work out. And go to the diet and nutrition page on my website, dreallday.com, where I cover that also in detail. Yanal Zaid says, what's up, Dre? I'm a huge fan. Thank you, Yanal. He says, I want to ask, I'm 15, I'm 5'8", I'm skinny, but I still have 15 to 20% body fat. I want to gain muscle, but I also want to lose the fat so I don't get bulky, because I'd rather be ripped. What do I recommend he do? Well, first of all, I recommend you take a look at what it is you're putting in your body as far as foods, because if you're skinny but you still got 20% body fat, it's probably something that you're not doing right if your goal is to be ripped. Something is missing there. The second thing you need to do is actually start doing a type of workout routine that can get you there. And that would take a lot more detail than just this information you're giving me. You would need a program that's probably written by somebody who's more professional side of the off-the-court training. Luckily, I got you covered there. If you go to hoophandbook.com, that's hoop as in basketball, handbook.com, that's one word. Check out the program called The Ultimate Athlete. That's a 15-week program. Off-the-court training, requires no equipment whatsoever. It is written by my personal performance coach. Her name is Maria Solon-Scally, and there's a detailed description on the site along with a video telling you exactly what's in the program. So, excuse me, that's what I recommend you do. Matt Mitchell says, why is basketball so weak these days and not physical anymore? Fouls are called so often and no fouls. They have new violations. It's going to ruin the game. It's going to get worse. Well, Mac, I don't know what to tell you. Eventually, I think you'll get over it and you'll start enjoying basketball again. Max Maximus says, what are the attributes I should focus on to develop as a naturally unathletic point guard? I'm 5'11". What's the best way to succeed for a naturally unathletic player? The best way to succeed is to have game, Max. That's the best thing you can do. Work on your game. Develop some skills. I didn't say work on your athleticism. I didn't say work on your talent. Work on your game. Can you dribble? Can you shoot? Can you pass? Do you make good decisions? Do you play defense? Are you in the right spot? Do you run the plays correctly? Do you know where all your teammates are supposed to be? Can you anticipate what the defense is going to do? Are you a leader? Are you vocal on defense? Do you hustle? Do you show up on time? None of those require athleticism. None of those require height. So those are the things you need to do. Yanal0611 says, Dre, I love your videos. Thank you, Yanal. He says, I want to know if one of your arms is bigger or stronger than the other, what do you recommend I do? You should probably do something that'll balance that out. Jake the Boss says, did I make the Summer League team? People's going to ask me about that. Forgot about that. Nope, I did not make the Summer League. Vegas Summer League started yesterday, and the Summer League thing did not work out. But again, I was telling a friend of mine, because he had asked me Thursday night about the same things. I was talking to him about it because he used to be an agent. The basic thing I told him, I'll probably make a separate video about this if people want to see it. I don't attach myself emotionally to anything which I don't 100% control. I don't 100% control somebody deciding to hire me for a job. And playing basketball, you're getting hired for a job. If I don't control it, I'm not emotionally attached to it. So if it doesn't work out, I'm disappointed that it didn't work, but I'm not upset, I'm not sad, I'm not angry. It just didn't work out. I focus on the things that I control, and those are the things that I get emotionally attached to. Doyla says, do I have an app with basketball tips or just the website? Well, right now I got just the website, I guess, if that's the way you want to put it. But I'm working on the app. App will come. But the thing you got to understand about an app is that it takes a lot of resources and really good people to put together a good app. Like a piece of shit app I can make in a day. But if I want to get a really good app, it takes good people and a good amount of resources. So we're working on it, just be patient. Ricky Gutierrez says, what are the advantages of having long arms against someone who has little arms? I don't know, Ricky. I don't give a damn about the length of anybody's arms because we can't control that. So you would have to tell me. You had to answer that question for me. Sadi Sao 1 says, what is your ritual when you wake up in the morning? What gets you out of bed right away every day? When I wake up in the morning, I get out of bed, I go to the bathroom, I wash my face, brush my teeth, and eat some food. Jose Mingo says, Dre, what do you think? Do you think you would excel in the D League? Do you think the best college teams could compete in the D League? I don't know about the college teams competing in the D League. That's not going to actually happen, so I don't even get into all those hypotheticals. Do I think I could excel in the D League? You had to give me a definition of what you mean by excel. That's a very vague way to describe things. Alex Williams says, I'm 13 and shoot 200 shots a day. I want to know if that is enough. I don't know, Alex. You would have to tell me if it's enough. Is your game improving? Are you performing in the games at the level you want to? The answer is yes, then it's probably enough. If the answer is no, then it's not enough. Faig Giag says, what is your opinion on Dwayne Wade's game at this point of his career? Well, Dwayne Wade's been suffering a lot of injuries. It appears that his body's kind of slowing down, breaking down at inopportune times. Whether he'll be able to come back and do his thing as the D Wade we know ever again, it doesn't look like he will, but I'm not going to count the man out. I am a fan of Dwayne Wade, so I hope to see him come back and do his thing. It looks like it's going to be him and Chris Bosh as the two big dogs in Miami next season, so we will find out, I guess. J Doggy 55 says, I play shooting guard and a small forward. I'm a catch and shoot type player. I want to get better at that and creating my own shot off the dribble and finishing. What hoop handbook would I recommend? You play the 2 and the 3. You want to get better at creating your own shot off the dribble and finishing. Between the 2 and the 3 positions, I would say you could take a look at a Kobe Bryant, you look at LeBron James, Dwayne Wade, Kevin Durant, James Harden, Jamal Crawford, Tracy McGrady, Paul Pierce. Those are all available hoop handbooks on the website right now. And you can also take a look at the package, the go-to guy package, which is basically the swingmen scorers, which sounds like the type of game you're describing. Kid Blast says, you're the man, Dre. Never stop, please. Well, thank you, Kid Blast, and I got you. I'm going to keep going. Eziggy1000 says, I have no question this week, but I want to say you've been a good inspiration to me. You deserve way more viewers. Thank you, Eziggy. I appreciate that. Giovanni Perdomo says, work on your game hoodies, but the whole thing, not the abbreviation, WYFG. Please and thank you, Dre. Giovanni, oh yeah. I actually meant to tell you, I did update. We got a whole lot new merchandise on Working Your Game merchandise store, which is WOYG.net. WOYG.net. That's where all the merchandise is. We got hoodies over there, some iPhone cases, a bunch of different t-shirts. We even got tank tops for the summer. So everything y'all asked me about, work on your fucking game hoodies. He said you want the whole word, work on your fucking game. We actually don't have that. I don't know if I'm going to do that, but thank you for the suggestion. But everything else we got over there, hoodies, t-shirts, tanks, iPhone cases, laptop covers, WOYG.net. Lot 1998 says, Dre, you're a true inspiration to me. I hope that you made the team. I don't know what team he's talking about, but thank you to Lot 1998. I appreciate that. AJ Barringer says, do you have an agent? Since you aren't signed to an overseas club in the NBA, have you ever thought about playing in other minor leagues, semi-pro leagues in the USA? Well, I work with a few agents. I sometimes have broker deals of my own, sometimes broker deals through agents. And what was his question? I ever thought about playing in minor leagues or semi-pro leagues in the USA? Not really, because most of those leagues you would have to actually go to that town to play, and a lot of them don't really pay at a level that I would want to get paid if I was to go move somewhere to play for that team. So probably not. Have I ever thought about it? Yes. Would I actually do it? Probably not. Nate Skate 11 says, you probably get a little tired answering all these damn questions, LOL. How about a fun one? So this is a fun question that Nate Skate claims that he has. He says, if I go to a gym, I'm shooting by myself, I have headphones on, I listen to music as I work on some things, shoot around. What do I like listening to? Nate Skate, I've already addressed that. I made about 20 videos that address the music I listen to when I work out. Go to my channel, go to the playlist, and you'll see workout music playlists, and you'll see about 20 different vids where I list songs that I listen to when I'm working out. Hardful 13 says, in my opinion, should T-Mac, Tracy McGrady, and Grant Hill be in the Hall of Fame someday? I would say T-Mac, yes, Grant Hill, no. Oakley 2168, how long do you work out every day? There's no set time. People ask me this question all the time. There's no set time. There's no average time. There's no time that you should work out. It's about how much you're getting done. It's not about how long you're actually in the gym. You could be in the gym 3 hours, and if you ain't doing shit, then it don't matter. Devontae Lagarde says, I'm a 6-foot wing player. I play the 2 and the 3. Despite me being undersized for a high school swingman, I do well, and I understand to play at a higher level. I need to develop into a point guard. Any tips? We'll develop into a point guard. Devontae, if you want me to give you some specific information, you got to ask me a more specific question than do I have any tips. Then first of all, you got to figure out what you want your game to be. Just saying you want to be a point guard is not specific. There are you watch the NBA. Look at all the best. Look at all the good point guards we watch. You look at Darren Williams, Rajon Rondo, Kyrie Irving, Derrick Rose, Tony Parker, Chris Paul, Russell Westbrook, John Wall. You look at Damian Lillard. You look at all these point guards. Aren't they all different? Don't they all play differently? There is no one point guard game. You got to figure out what your game is. And until you know that, nobody can give you any tips. So that's what you need to do. Figure out what your game is. DeAndre Griffiths says, did I have a job as a teenager? If so, what was it? I had a lot of jobs as a teenager. My first ever job was at Pizza Hut. Jay Lee says, how do you focus and show 100% of your game during actual basketball games? I'm usually too overexcited or nervous, and I always seem to come up short of my expectations. Do I have a special before game routine to calm me down? And he appreciates all I do. Thank you, Jay Lee. First of all, as far as how do you focus and show your game during actual games, number one thing you need to do, since you feel like you're getting too excited or too nervous during games, is playing more games so you can get used to the situation. And you need to find a routine that works for you. If I tell you to go do 10 jumping jacks and 30 push-ups and then shoot 20 jump shots from the corner, and that's going to calm you down. That might work for me, but that don't mean that it's going to work for you. You got to find what works for you. And calming yourself down is a mental thing. It's not a physical thing. So it's not, the routine is what gets your body saying, okay, I've done this before. I know what this feels like, so let's go ahead and do this. But you have to figure out what calms you down before a game. The same thing that calms the guy next to you down might not be what calms you down. You have to figure that out. That's part of your work. So when I say work on your game, it's not just how many jump shots you get up a day, or how long you do a dribbling drill, or what your crossover looks like. It's about working on the mental side of yourself so that when you get in the game, you are focused, you are calm, and you can perform at the level that you know you can perform at. But that's something that you have to work on, something you need to spend time thinking about. Even when you're not on the court, what do I need to do to get that proper focus when I'm out on the court in the game? So that's something that you need to take the time out to do, and you don't need to be on the court to do it. Nick Ramos says, how do I get to the basket on a zone defense as a point guard? You just get to the basket. There's not like any one move that I say, all right, do this move, and every time you do it, you're going to get to the basket, and you already know that. So you have to play in more games. This is Nick Ramos. Nick, you need to play in more games. If you're asking that question, it means you don't have enough basketball experience, because that question is really undefinable. There is no one thing that's going to get you the exact same result every single time in basketball, because every time you get the ball, the situation is different. No two situations are exactly the same. You need to play more, develop your instinct, develop your feel, and develop your skill so that you don't have to ask questions like, how do I get to the basket? Because the question is undefinable. Dominique Azores says, since you're 32, do you think your age works against you in these professional league or team tryout situations? Do I think it works against me? I don't really think about that. It really doesn't matter. I mean, there's nothing you can do about it. It's not like you can make yourself older or make yourself younger. The only thing you can do is focus on the situation that you have at hand. So either you're going to work with it, or you're going to say, all right, I'm done, and not work with it. So those are the only two options you have. Whether it's working for you or against you doesn't matter, because you can't do anything about it anyway. Rivaldo Nonea says, oh, he didn't say nothing. Jalen Roper says, I'm 15. I'm playing summer varsity basketball on my school team, 110 pounds. I got a good handle on the ball. My size is holding me back. And to give you an idea, he said his team plays in the top 20. His team plays 3 of the top 20 ESPN ranked team. And his school has a 7-foot player about to graduate. And this season starts, he needs to gain 20 pounds. But he finds himself maintaining his weight because hard practices. He works on his game 3 or 4 times a week. So his question, Jalen's question, everyone, is how does he gain weight within 3 to 4 weeks? Jalen, if you want to gain weight in terms of muscle, you need to eat more than you're normally eating, and you need to lift weights. So whatever amount of food you eat now that you're not gaining any weight, you need to eat more. And you need to lift weights. And you're 15 years old, I would suggest you check out the Ultimate Athlete at hoophandbook.com. and or the Position of Power strength training program if you have access to a gym. Both of those programs have detailed information on what's in them on the website. So just go to the website and read the descriptions of both programs. I suggest you get one, the other, or both. Saraku15 says, say to get good, you need to practice a lot and play in a lot of games. Yes, I do say that. He says, what type of games? Organized basketball, pickup, 5-on-5, 1-on-1, all of them. You can play in all of them. All of them will help you get better. Jay Shilcutt says, did I ever play in the D-League, and do I watch Summer League? Did I ever play in D-League? I did not. I've been to some tryouts, had some workouts, almost the training camps. Did not play in the D-League. Do I watch Summer League? Occasionally, but not really. Jared Lopez says, whose team do I think is better, 1992 Team USA or 2012 Team USA? I'm going to say 1992. GK Fernandez, how do you continue to play well? It says, how do you continue to play well after you miss your shot when people are playing cheap and being disrespectful? I'm 14 years old, 6'3", 170 pounds. I get mad easily when I miss a shot because I'm a good shooter. How do I move on to the next play or ignore people? And I go to the gym every day and shoot and lift weights, but I feel like I'm not getting better. Thanks, keep up the good work. Well, GK Fernandez, how do you continue to play after you miss a shot? The same, your question is answered with the question. You keep playing. There's no routine you need to go through. There's nothing you need to think in your head. You need to forget the last play and focus on the next play. Same way if you make a good play, that play don't have nothing to do with the next play down the court. Or if you have a good game that has nothing to do with the game you play the next day. Once it's over, and you just got to move on from it. So that's something that you need to work on. Same as I answered the guy earlier, you need to focus on your mental game. The mental side of the game is just as equal, if not more, important than the physical side of the game. So you got to figure out ways. You need to come up with ways that you can get rid of a play. Once it's over, it's over. No basketball player makes every shot. The best shooter of all time is Ray Allen, and he makes 40-something%, which means more than half the time he misses. Stephen Curry, the same thing. More than half the time they miss shots. And I'm talking about from the outside at least. Even the best shooters, the best field goal percentage guys shoot 60-something%, which means over 30% of the time they're missing the shot. So every shot is not going to go in, no matter how good of a shooter you are, no matter how many shots you get up. Once it's over, move on to the next play. Johnny Adane says, I don't know why they have hoop mixtape because people dribble a lot. It's not good for people who are learning basketball. I don't really understand what he's asking me. I don't think it's a question, it's more of a statement. I don't really watch hoop mixtape, so there's nothing I can say to that. Randy Rodriguez says, Dre, I'm about to start high school. I want to know what are the things you mainly had to work on when transitioning from middle school to high school. I'm 5'7". I've been growing a little bit, so I don't think I reached my growth spurt. How much can I grow before the end of high school? Love the videos, they're very helpful. First of all, Randy Rodriguez, I have no idea how much you're going to grow by the end of high school. And if there's a person out there who can predict height, they'd be a very, very rich individual. Nobody can predict your height. Only thing you can focus on are the things you can control, and height is not one of them. Skill, effort, attitude. Your height, there's nothing I can tell you about that. As far as transitioning from middle school to high school, nothing you need to know. There are no tips, there are no secrets, there's no big time, top secret information that you don't know about. The players are probably going to be bigger, they're probably going to be better, and you need to do the same. So you need to work on your game. There are no secrets. Sanjay Kalsi says, thanks for uploading videos every single day. Keep up the good work. Thank you, Sanjay. Tommy Conley says, I should make sleeveless hoodies that say WOYFG. I don't know about sleeveless hoodies, Tommy, but we got regular hoodies with the actual sleeves on them right now, WOYG.net. Siobhan Daly says, do I have any future plans of having kids? We'll see. ASAP Goldie says, do I have any videos on dunking tips? If I do, can I tell him where they are? Yes, ASAP. If you go to my playlist, go to my channel, go to the playlist, and go to the playlist that says dunks. And then go to the one that says vertical jump, because he asked me, do I have tips on jumping higher? If the ball slips, because people say something like, and ASAP says in his question, they say, I jump high enough to dunk, but the ball keeps slipping out my hand, so I don't dunk it. Well, listen, let me give y'all a reality check. If you jump high enough to dunk, you will be dunking it. All right, so if you jump high enough to dunk and the ball's not going in the basket, guess what? You're not jumping high enough. You need to jump higher. I would suggest you get the jump manual, dreallday.com/jump. dreallday.com/jump, and it guarantees you will gain 12 inches on your vertical and 10 inches on your vertical in 12 weeks. It's guaranteed. That's what I would suggest. But if you want to stick to the ball slipping out your hand, don't blame your hands. It's not your hands that's keeping you from dunking, it's your hops or your lack of hops. Next question. Jason Lakatus says, thanks for the answer. I'm going to continue to work on my game. What do I think about the index finger release, and do I grip the shooting hand when shooting? I have no idea what you mean by that, Jason. You had to be more specific on both questions. But you're welcome for answering the question. Mr. Chicago Boy, his previous question that is. Mr. Chicago Boy 89 says, in my opinion, would I beat Smallville and Zeke from verse 1? So back to what I said at the beginning of the video. If y'all want to see me play some guys from verse 1, holler at those dudes, tell them that Dre All Day already reached out via email and via Twitter, and I haven't heard back from anybody. So if y'all want to see those games, y'all get at them, get in their comments, get on their Facebook, their Instagram, their Twitter, whatever way y'all get in touch with them dudes, and let them know Dre said he's ready to make something happen. Y'all need to holler back at him so we can make it happen, if y'all want to see the game. Devoy Morrison says, if I'm ever in Toronto, hit him up. PS, good vids. All right, Devoy, I appreciate that. Johan Pais says, do I have days when I shoot like a beast for 4 straight days, and the next couple of days my shot's not like it used to be? No, I don't. If you continue to be consistent with your training and your practicing, then that won't happen. State of Nate 802 says, how old was I when I got my driver's license? I believe I was 16 or 17, maybe 18, I don't know. Trick Shot King says, in watching film of college or NBA, what are some things I should look for as a point guard or 2 guard? There's a lot of things you can look for. You can learn anything from watching college or NBA players. It depends on what you're trying to get better at, and that's a very broad question. You had to ask me something a little bit more specific than what are some things I should look for. GZ Dog PSN says, whose program would I recommend if he wants to be a slasher scorer? And he said he already has worked with the Kobe, Chris Paul, and Kyrie Irving signature workout programs at Hoop Handbook. He's 13, going to 8th grade, and he wants to be a slasher scorer. Well, it's simple. For people ask me which program, you just look at, you already know who these players are. So look at the player whose skills you want to kind of mimic your game after. If you want to be a slasher scorer, the first thing I think of when I think slasher, I think somebody like Dwayne Wade, or maybe even a James Harden, or Paul George. Tracy McGrady's another good one. I would say one of those 4 guys. Vincent Thorpe says, who's the best player I played one-on-one with? The best player I ever played one-on-one with is probably this dude named Omar Thomas. He's from Philly. He went to, I think he went to UTEP for college, and he was really fucking good. He's probably the best player. This is back in when I was 16, and he was killing me. Juke Team HQ says, are any drills that can build the player's basketball IQ? Well, yeah. I mean, ball handling drills builds your basketball IQ. It depends on what you mean by basketball IQ, because that's a very broad term. What do you mean by that? You mean seeing the floor? You mean finding open teammates, using screens, reading the defense? If you're talking about that, then you need to actually play against people. And there's not really a drill for playing against people. You need to actually go do it. Riley Smith says, what I think about the Summer League, I love watching it because of the faster pace. And do I watch young guys learn more about the game, watching them get better? What I think about the Summer League, I mean, the Summer League is the Summer League. It's a place for people to get their feet wet for the league, or players who are trying to get seen or get back in the league or keep their job in the league to get seen. So it's cool as basketball. I mean, anybody who's a fan of basketball will like watching good players play ball. Dewan Adams says, for the last video I didn't give information. I don't remember what you asked, Dewan, so hopefully he reminds me here. He says he's 15, going into sophomore, and I mentioned Paul George or KD, but he's 5'5". Can he model his game after them even though he's not in the position they're in? What program would I recommend for him to get his handles up and shot? Well, as far as your height, you're 15 years old, so you might not be finished growing. I don't know. I do not predict anybody's height. I have no idea how tall you're going to be. Don't matter how tall your parents are. That has nothing to do with it. But I'm no doctor, so please don't anybody ask me how tall I think they're going to be, because I don't know. As far as getting your handles up and shot, I would say Kyrie Irving is probably one of the most popular programs. Also Stephen Curry, Derrick Rose, Chris Paul. Yorkun says, I live in Turkey. I'm 14. I want to study in Turkey for high school, and then I want to move to the States. Is it possible to play college ball without playing high school ball? If it's difficult, can I tell them how difficult it is? Love your videos. Keep up the good content. All right, first of all, if you want to play college basketball, you should probably have some proof. If you're going to come to the United States and go to some college and say, I want to play, then you need to be able to do one of 2 things. Number 1, show some proof that you can play already, which if you don't play in high school, you won't have any. Number 2, you're going to have to get on the court and prove you can play. So all you need to do is work on your game. By the time you get to the United States, you better have some game to show. And if you don't, you won't make the team, and you won't have anybody to blame for it. So I'm giving you the information. Then he says, is it difficult? And if so, can I tell them how difficult it is? That question is undefinable. People ask me this all the time. They say, how hard is it to do this? Or how difficult is it to do this? Or how easy is it to do this? That makes no sense. I can't quantify how difficult something is. First of all, I'll have to know what school you're going to, how good you are, what your mentality is, and where you plan on being by the time you get there, as far as your skill, mentality, size, experience, all of that. I don't know any of those things, and I don't want to know any of those things. Those are things you need to know. You need to tell me how difficult it's going to be for you. I can't tell you how easy anything is for you to do. You had to decide that for yourself, because the same person can look at two different people look at the same situation. One person can say that's easy, another person can say that's impossible. It depends on how you're thinking, how you're feeling, and what you're actually capable of achieving. But those are all things you got to decide for yourself. Clutch Dominicano says, How do you guard a bigger offensive player? I'm 5'4", 115 pounds. He plays against people in their 20s. And his best chance to strip the ball if he's lucky or have good timing on a contest, which rarely happens. Any tips? Well, Clutch, if you're 5'4" and you're playing against guys who are bigger than you, if they know how to play, they're probably going to get a clean shot off against you. It's not much you could do at 5'4" to stop a guy from getting a shot off against you if they're taller than you. Best bet is to try to not let them get the ball in the first place or work on your strength so that they can't get positioned so close to the basket so you force them into a tougher shot. Hey, it's Babyface, says Dre, what do I think of a one-on-one between me and Bone Collector from Ball Up? I've actually never really seen that dude play, but I'll just say me. Daniel Duran says, I've been watching the World Cup? Not really. Hey, Jeremy says, when I ice my knees, I get a stinging sensation after 3 to 5 minutes. Is it okay to put a cloth between your ice and your skin? Absolutely, yes it is. Josh Levikia says, I'm Canadian, I'm 5'10", I play the 2-guard. I have a solid mid-range game and three-point shot, but I want to work on my driving and finishing. Also, my left-hand finishing as well. Any tips? Well, I don't know. Y'all listen to that question that I just read. Josh just described exactly what he wants to work on, then he asked me for tips. Well, Josh, what you want me to tell you? Go work on it. What's stopping you? You already know how to play basketball. You got a good mid-range and three-point shot, which means you know what it means to go practice. So you just described the things you want to get good at, and then you ask me for any tips. Go do it. What more tips do you need? If you want an actual program, go to hoophandbook.com, and I got you covered. Ballslife7743 says, do I believe in putting backspin on my shot? Do I believe in it? Yeah, I guess so. The Mike Bud says, how did I come up with work on your game, and who's in the intro to all your vids? How did I come up with work on your game? It was just something I said. I was talking in the video and talking about people asking me all these questions for tips, and I said the only thing you need to do instead of asking me for tips is work on your game. And the person in the intro to all my vids is actually, her name's Micah. She's from Germany. She was recording a game for me when I was in Germany, and she was talking while she was recording, and she said DreAllDay.com, and that's where I got that from. And I actually posted a picture of her on Instagram several months ago. If you go to my Instagram and scroll down, you'll see a picture of her with a work on your game shirt on. Joe Henley says, how often do you run? I don't know what he means by run. If you mean like run for a distance, like run a few miles or something like that, probably anywhere from 4 to 6 times a week. Will Mo says, 102 says, could I do the jump manual and the ultimate athlete at the same time? You could, but I would suggest that you do not. So do one or the other, or you could do them back to back, but not at the same time. That's too much. FPC Virtual says, nice Q&A. I didn't watch the whole thing, and he watched 7 minutes or so. He loves my honesty that you live by both on and off the court. Keep doing your thing. Your leadership out here on YouTube and the world of basketball is surely needed. Thank you, FPC Virtual. Trey Brown says, thanks for making so many vids. You've helped me improve my game. You're welcome, Trey. I'm just wondering, is there any special equipment that I need that I couldn't find in a regular gym? Special equipment for what? He didn't really, that question, I think some information is missing from your question, Trey Brown. Special equipment for what? If you want to play basketball, you need a ball on the court. I'm pretty sure you already know that. The Kosh123 says, Dre, when you were growing up, did you model your game after anybody, or did you develop your own game? I did not model my game after anyone, but of course, as anybody who watches other players, you're going to pick up things from other players. So I didn't model my game after anybody, but if I saw somebody do something that I liked, then I would add that to my game. Charles Singletary, we almost done here, says, who do I think is the better player, Derrick Rose in 2010 or Damian Lillard in 2013? I'll say Derrick Rose. Darius Solomon says, is there any age limit to joining the NBA? No. Rasp says, you're a huge inspiration to me. I love your videos. I hope you don't stop them anytime soon. Rasp, thank you. This is the last question, everybody. Thank you, Rasp, and I will not be stopping anytime soon. He says, I'm young, I'm 5'6", 13 years old. I'm a good athlete. I'm good at driving to the bucket, and I like contact. I'm okay shooting from the outside, but I can't shoot threes without shooting from my chest. How can I shoot threes without switching up my shooting form? Well, you need to get stronger, Rasp. I suggest you get the Ultimate Athlete or Position of Power program at hoophandbook.com. There is no technique. If you just don't have the strength, then you don't have the strength. You need to develop strength. And that's not really something you're going to do on the court. That's off the court training that you need to do. So that's all the questions, everybody. Thank you for coming through with the Q&A. Again, I'm going to make another video talking about these NBA moves that happened today. That is Friday. Y'all seen this video on Saturday. Y'all want to see me play these dudes from verse 1. And if that, y'all holler at verse 1. Y'all holler at verse 1 and see what's going on. When they get back at me, I'm going to let y'all know what's going on and how we're going to make these games happen. And if that goes well, then we're going to make all these other games happen. All these other dudes off the internet y'all keep talking about. We're going to make all these games happen. So y'all need to holler at them. They got to holler at me. We're going to make that happen. Then we move on from there. Thank you, everybody, for coming through with the questions. Work on your fucking game. DreAllDay.com. I had a guaranteed 10 inches to your vertical, not a maybe 10 inches. Guaranteed 10 inches to your vertical. Go to DreAllDay.com/jump. Get the jump manual. When you get it, I'm going to give you 5 free pen books or any free DVD. All you got to do is email me the receipt. DreAllDay.com/jump.
Dre Baldwin, strong.
Like a model.
Like that name, Philadelphia.
Punch card.
That guy's almost too ripped.
Right.